Welcome back to Really Good TV. Quite clearly not in Ireland, because that there is sunshine. You don't get that anymore in Ireland. They've banned that in Ireland. I'm just literally after watching the live release of the 1300 GSA. It's 4 decades of the GS bike now, and this is their latest offering. Now, the head of marketing said several times within the presentation, which I've just watched, that, I quote, "This is a super important bike for us." I bet it is after the release of the 1300 GS, which sort of split the nation. They really did need to get this right. Obviously, I've got a vested interest in this. I've made plenty of videos on my channel now about whether to move from my 1200 GS into the 1300 GS. And I was, as you know, I'll not go over that again, but that wasn't going to happen. So I have secretly been waiting for this, really excited, which is why I'm here on holiday, still staying across the situation. And on top of that, I've deliberately not looked at any leaked images. Anyway, you're dying to know what I think of this. Okay, here we go. First looks. When I saw it, when they unveiled it on the stage there, my instant reaction was, wow, it's boxy. It actually reminded me of like an old Volvo Estate from the 80s. Boxy but good. Very rugged looking and much wider than the 1300 GS. Same headlight, but obviously we're stuck with that now. They must have spent millions designing that. But it wasn't, looks-wise, it definitely wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I think my feelings were somewhat, especially after the GS launch, my feelings were somewhat, let's not get too excited about this. But I think straight away it's going to be one of those bikes which sort of will grow on you. And I know without doubt it'll also be one of those bikes that when you see it in the flesh, I think it'll look a lot better than on the pictures here or on the presentation. Talking of which, and I have to say this, the live presentation was more concerned about telling, and I'm going over it here again as I'm talking to you, more concerned about telling us about an adventure to Namibia on this bike with a few riders, other than telling us more about the actual bike. You know, there seemed more said about telling us about an upcoming trip. And the 3 bikes looked well when they did ride on stage, however, and that only then did we see the 3 colour schemes, a black, a blue and a red. I think one of them is a trophy, one of them is the triple black. And I don't know what the red colour would be called, but standard colours and bold, just like the lines, the ruggedness and the shape of it. I'm sort of still asking myself, how do I feel about this? I'm sort of on the fence at the minute, but that's a good thing because I am prepared to let it grow on me. I'm definitely not like I was when I saw the 1300 GS, where I thought, oh my God, what have they done? I'm certainly not like that. It's very different looking, I'll give it that. And then the female presenter, she seemed more concerned, sorry, I'm talking about the presentation still, she seemed more concerned about who was going to the sort of after-show party tonight, rather than telling us any more about the bike. Unbelievable bad presentation. And a huge lack of info about the workings of the bike. And until we got the project manager, thank God, I honestly thought this is going to be such a washed out launch event. But the project manager came on. However, he still didn't tell us the things that I want to know, the backlit switches, the burger button, you know, needing a much more intuitive interface for things like switching the heated grips on and off, raising the windscreen up or down. What we did find out is that it has got a larger windscreen and larger sort of winglets at the side of the windscreen. That's all we found out about the windscreen. It's got the same engine as the GS. Fuel tank size is the same as the old 1250 GS Adventure, 30 litres. So they've stuck a lot to the standard size and standard dimensions. Be interesting to see the bike, of course, in real life. Sorry about the siren there. That's probably the presentation police coming to arrest me. The other thing I must tell you, 145 HP, you can go online. I'm sure now that the internet is flooded with all the statistics. I won't go into that. However, I did see that it was 268 kilograms wet. That is a bloody heavy bike, especially if you're planning on taking that off-road. The other thing which sort of pricked my interest was they've got a new aluminium subframe, so that has presumably reduced the weight, even though it's still 268 kilograms. Also, a new aluminium luggage system, and get this, to mount the aluminium luggage onto the bike, you then have to pay extra for the optional mounts. so the luggage can sit on the bike. This is not going to be a cheap bike. And I've been onto the Irish Motorrad website, and there's nothing updated yet on the website, so I can't do a configuration and tell you how much this bike is going to cost in Ireland. You'll have to research that yourself for wherever you live. The other thing, obviously big news, is that it comes with an auto box like a DCT, better known across the motorcycle industry as DCT. BMW have obviously put their own stamp on it and named it an ASA system. Now, it says there's no clutch lever, obviously a DCT wouldn't have, but you can switch with the flick of a button from manual into auto. Does that mean that there is no option to get a fully manual version of this bike with a clutch lever? Because I'm still not ready for the no clutch lever on a bike. That's just me. You can make your own mind up. It comes with a plethora of electronics as well. All that traffic avoidance, the radar, cruise control and all that sort of stuff. Blind spot warnings, collision warnings, and also the adaptive ride height control. So if I was to be getting one, or indeed even ride one for short horses like myself, that is an invaluable tool. My opinion is somewhat positive. I think I like the look of it, and I think once I've watched everybody else's videos tonight on YouTube, I'm sure when I've seen the bike a few times, that presentation just did not portray the bike in the best light at all for me visually. I thought it was very poor, but once I've seen it on other people's YouTube channels tonight, and I know a lot of influencers and YouTube will have had a much more sneaky behind the scenes preview than I was allowed. I'm not even allowed into my BMW dealer at the moment after what I said about the latest 1300 GS. Anyway, I hope to fix that. I hope to be riding one of these as soon as it comes to Ireland. That's all I have to say on it at the moment. Quite impressed. Thanks a million for tuning in to Really Good TV. If you're not a subscriber, please become one, because I'll be bringing you a lot more news and updates about this bike. And like I say, ultimately, as soon as one arrives in Ireland, I shall be there to ride it. Thanks a million. All the best. Dave Perry, have a great week, everybody. Really Good TV.